happens here is this is the sanding area. That's a dust collection system that draws the sawdust through the filter into a dumpster outside. And that's just a pneumatic suction cup stand that allows the operator to sand the back and then rotate it sideways, still holding the guitar, so they can sand the side completely, then flip it over and tackle the top. Here you can see a 15 series guitar that has not yet been sanded. This is, of course, one without binding, but the edges are real rough. Sound hole hasn't been sanded yet, and I could just feel the lifting grain and the upstream scratches from the belt sander on here. So this person's job will be to sand all these surfaces up to a certain grit and round the edges. Neck that has been glued together with the fingerboard, which is finished, and this will be taped off before it enters the lacquering area, because as I said, this is pretty much complete. The barrel of the neck still needs to be sanded and shaped and measured with the quality gauge. Same goes for the headstock and the head plate. And then this will be prepared to go into finishing. And just before finishing, we'll see where the tuning machine holes get glued in, or bored in rather. Okay, so this is the machine that cuts the holes in the headstock for the tuning machines to be installed. A very precision process. Let's see if we can find an example. Obviously here are necks that have not yet been drilled. Then of course, if I can reach over here, you can see how there's a counter bore to accommodate the machine. And then of course on the front here we'd have the washers, which is a slightly smaller hole. One of the things we do in the finishing process to help protect the inside of the guitar from taking on finish, which we don't want, is just we install this. It's a sponge and basically a bait cup, and the pressure from the sponge pushes the bait cup tightly against the top, so it pretty much seals off the inside of the guitar from getting any spray. Okay, so we can see now how the guitars have moved from the trucks where they were in the sanding department into a hanging truck where the only point of contact is the hook that goes through the end pin hole, so the entire body can dry without any contact point. See here some really nice examples of some maple instruments that are coming through. Looks like maybe a JC16 maple down below there. And I see some D18 authentic guitars that are here in the finishing process, just on this truck right next to the maple guitars. This is also the area where the sunbursting takes place, and all of the shading, the Johnny Cash models get painted black in this department. Anything that has a toner or a colored lacquer, the pink lacquered Claire guitar, it all gets done in this area. Here are trucks and trucks of guitars that have gone through the finishing process one time or are being prepared to enter into the robotic spraying room. They come into this area to just be staged and to dry between coats. And you can see there's a complex schedule of which models are going in for what amount of time. Here we have some ukuleles that are going through the process we brought. They look to me like the new Cherry, the certified Cherry ukulele. It was only a few years ago that we brought ukuleles back into the model line. And I see a black guitar that I am assuming is a DCE black, also a sustainable wood guitar. And these guitars have been finished for the most part, or going back in for another spray. And here we see someone sanding, very similar to the wood sanding process, but this much finer grit sandpaper, and that's the lacquer that they're actually scuffing between coats. And here we have a size 5 Mini Martin, historically a very popular size that was gone from the line for a long time, then brought back by the help of Dick Boak. Just basically a solid rosewood and spruce with pearl and herringbone. see, we see a Koa guitar here that's looking a little cloudy because it's between coats. Doesn't have that vibrant final coat finish to it, but that's a piece of Koa. Here's the area where the Authentics are built. Here are the presses where they're put together. Looks like Dale's gone for the day, but he's the gentleman who pretty much handcrafts them from start to finish, with some support obviously from the lacquering department and you know, things that can't be done at a bench. Let's see here. Here's one of the D18 Authentics just after the body's been built. You can see here there's no place for a truss rod. Obviously there weren't truss rods in the 30s. This is our custom shop. It was not so long ago that we pulled the customs out of the line in some regards to do the final neck fit and some of the more precision parts of the process exclusively in the custom shop. So although customs do go through the line in some regards, they end up here for final assembly. This is probably the guitar that we just saw in the scuffed stage. This is a fully lacquered Koa guitar. It's a nice Koa flame on the back there. And these are being strung up. They're on the shelf because they're being strung for the first time, and then a few days later, you know, the necks will be adjusted to accommodate the string tension, and away they go. I see some Authentics on this shelf. Really nice Brazilian head plate on what looks like a 0018 Authentic Sunburst guitar. Okay, so now we're entering the repair department. Martin guitars come with a lifetime warranty to the original owner, and we get them back from the original owner, and we get them back from folks, descendants of the original owner. Some of these guitars were built long before any of us were even born, and we get to see how things were done at the Martin factory. You know, historically, it's very exciting for us to be able to do that. An example of some of the things that have come to us by hopeful guitar owners that we might be able to repair them. Basically, discouraging folks without luthier experience to try it at home. And a big part of the lacquering process is the inspection part, where after a guitar is considered final sprayed, we'll send it through these inspection booths where they'll go over each surface with a fine-tooth comb, literally an eyedropper and a magnifying glass, looking for any open pores or exceptionally deep pores that may not have been filled with the normal process. So that's what these folks are doing. The next step after this is the polishing of the guitar, and this is done nowadays by a robotic polisher. Right here you can see the robotic arm in process right now.
Keeps everything consistent,
yeah.
burn holes, everything.
Now that replaces the idea of a human being holding a 20-pound buffer all day long above a guitar surface. This it reverses the thought process by bringing the guitar to a buffing wheel, applying just the right amount of pressure, and then moving it around the surface. More precise and, yeah, much less repetitive motion illness, you know, carpal tunnel, stuff like that.
Carpal tunnel, right, exactly.
Right, exactly.